Alright, Bonehonks, this video is all about Quan. A while back there, I did my Quan best cameo tier list video, and I think the hottest, most people agreed with me for the most part, but I think the hottest take was that they thought Janet Cage was in the top 3 for Quan. And to be fair, I wanted to give that a chance, so I've been spending the time researching, looking into a lot of the things that Janet can do, playing some sets and stuff with friends, and wouldn't you know it, I've had my mind changed. So I kind of want to go over what I found and kind of have shifted my top 5 cameos since then a little bit too. So we're kind of going to go into that, but I'm going to start with my opinion on Janet here first. So let's get into it.
Accept your death.
So I want to give a big shout out here to Rumba for sending me a whole bunch of Quan Janet tech. Definitely, I've been ignorant to a lot of things that this cameo can do. So I'll kind of go into the things that I like first and some criticisms that I have afterwards. So one of the things that I really like is that she has a safe on block reversal. So I just assumed that this was as negative as it is when you try and do it on wake up, which I believe is minus 24. But if you do it as a reversal, it's only minus 6. So I mean, you might as well just give it a shot. I think that is super good for Quan. Help him, break through some of the offense and get something started. And it's plus 34 on hit. So this is something that I was unaware that Janet Cage was doing for old Quan here. Secondly is he's got some super cool setups where he can actually like sky drop down and like have the armor already be active. I couldn't really do the ones that he sent me because the execution is just a little bit too high for what I'm capable of, to be honest. But something like that, and then you come down and you're armored and you're ready to go. Well, that's pretty cool. I like that. I like that as well. That's some good tech. And then 140 damage forward throw, one of the better ones. I think one of the best ones in the game. Her and Sonya, I think, are the only ones that have those two. And then just the amount of conversions, obviously, you can get off like every single little thing, right? So like the synergy there is just super duper good. And then there's a couple other things as well, but I mean, it's just that like pretty much if you get a hit with Quan, you're getting a combo with Janet. It doesn't really matter what you're hitting with. She's increasing your damage, and usually it's somewhere in the 300s, which is all right. That's okay damage. Let's go over some things that I found that I didn't really care for that much. The Janet wall, for example, you can just easily jump over that. That does create the mind game, of course, so like there's that, but like the fact that it has like no aerial hitbox is kind of annoying, because just use your push away portal at that point, save your cameo for something else, like your conversions that you're going to use. I feel like the whole point of using Janet in this matchup is to use her punches. So I would, for a wall that isn't super useful, at least I didn't find it very useful at all. Then I think like my only other gripe with Janet is just the lack of synergy with the Gento stance, because like this is going to be where she really could like give us some mix and stuff. Because yeah, but there doesn't seem to be a real decent way to get her out in Gento. That's about as close as I found, unless you're in something corner. Where I think she could be handy though is when you're zoning. The only problem is you have to do a summon with the portal and then a summon with Gento. And then something like that, just to kind of add to your damage. But I mean, there you get 3 projectiles, so yeah. And then I think this is my final gripe that I have with the Janet cameo. So the thing with Janet is she gives you conversions off of pretty much everything, but she doesn't really give you a way to hit anything more. So for example, we have this string here, this string here. You can get Janet off of that, but if anyone who's playing Quan knows that you block high first and low second, and you're probably never going to get hit by this. Like anyone that knows the Quan matchup is not going to get hit by that. Same with all of his mix-ups, like his tentacle is pretty easy to see coming and react to. And then even then, you're trying to use it in here sometimes can be worse, but I mean, you can get punished by some characters. And then the damage off of like a raw tentacle isn't like really the greatest. I don't think that's optimal, but at 165 for one cameo, not really the greatest, especially if you can do other things with other cameos better. So when you look at the actual frame data of Quan, he has no mix-ups. There is absolutely no mix-ups there, so there's nothing really for Janet to help him with in that department. You can convert off it, if somebody's going to get hit by it, like at the lower levels of the game or something like that. But as soon as somebody knows how to fight Quan, it's toast. You're not getting any of your Janet conversions off, which is kind of the main reason you would use this cameo to begin with, because she gives you those combos off those stray hits and all those types of things. So, yeah, this team definitely can do stuff, but I think it's really quite reliant on your opponent not understanding how Quan Chi works. Like I said, there's some things I was ignorant to at the start of that I didn't know that she does, like her reversal and that kind of stuff. So, and then I kind of started to look at other cameos that are they're in the same health bracket that she is, and you got characters like, now we have Motaro, we have Kung Lao, we have Sector, we have Sub-Zero. All those cameos. Oh, no, sorry, I think Sub-Zero gives you 50 health. Anyway, sorry. Those cameos do way more for Quan and help him acquire damage in different areas than Janet Cage does. So from all my research and everything that I've done here, and from what I've looked at, not only do I not think Janet Cage is a top 3 cameo for Quan, I actually don't even have her in my top 10 anymore. This has changed my mind to actually move her down, because and I've been kind of playing around with some other cameos. So let's look at what these other cameos do that are the same health value as Janet. So to be fair, Motaro has just most recently be coming into this category, being buffed so that he no longer takes health. But yeah, you get Dan 4 Bone Dome combos for the same amount of cameo meter. He's a little bit slower to come back, but I mean 310 damage. That's full screen from anywhere. That's off a punish, and that's super easily hit confirmable. As soon as you see that standing for a hit, tie Motaro, press him easy. Doesn't really give us mix because he is a little bit slower himself, but a plus on block, 26 frame low, you know, and giving us some more purpose. And then because we're slow, we're at plus 13, so that's going to give us some frames to get some of our slower stuff out. He gives us a reflect, obviously, to counter zoners like, say, Liu Kang or Sub-Zero. And lastly, we have a teleport. So if we're in trouble, someone's up close, boom, cancel that teleport, we're full screen, exactly where we want to be. Motaro is actually moving up quite a bit up the ladder in my cameos for Quan, but he is like far and away. You just look at all these things, and I didn't even mention the turret. Look at that. All that zoning, all that meter build, you know, and they buffed it recently where it comes back a little bit faster now. I mean, yeah, that's Motaro far and away, just way more utility, way more synergy with Quan than Janet. Kung Lao's in the same boat. Can do something like holding his low hat to kind of throw off people who are trying to flawless block our projectiles, and then just giving us a low hat in our zoning to begin with. It is also just disgusting to stop movement. Look at how many repetitions of this we're getting out before we have a lull in Kung Lao there. So that's really good. And then, you know, not exactly mix up, same as I was talking about earlier, because it is slower, but you have an extra low in your mix there. Also gives us bone dome combos as well. So that's pretty good. And then a teleport on top of that. Mind you, the teleport isn't that great outside of that combo there. And then an extra combo launcher here. Again, something you can do off the standing 4. Within range, of course. Not optimal there, but 277. So yeah, do that off of 1, 2. And I believe there's that new orbiting hat too, but I haven't really messed around with that much. And of course, we've known that Sector has been one of Quan's stronger cameos since like the beginning of the game. Just the combos that he gives us. Obviously the zoning. We hit something like this. Missile locks him down. We have a flamethrower. We're catching movement. Of course, if we're trying to zone, anything that catches movement, committing to anything is super duper good. And then not even to mention like the homing missile that we can do as well. To really kind of end a round or something like that. Look at this. Watch this. Make my sky drop safe. Never mind, it comboed. What a concept, huh? Like all these things that Sector gives us for the same health values. There's just more synergy, you know, is what I'm saying. When I think out of all the cameos that I kind of revisited and kind of spent some extra time with, Darius is the one that I actually am probably going to sink my teeth into a little bit more here, because Darius does a lot of things that we need, and just a lot of like weird things too, right? Like we get like a little ambush attack here, steals a bar of their mirror, puts them full screen. Not the greatest hit advantage, but I mean it's definitely something. And then not to mention, like, you know, the mix that he does with volleyballistic, I believe. Like actual mix into more combos, and then any knockdown in the corner or literally anywhere, you can just pull them out to get a little bit of mix there. So like you get some corner situations with Darius, you're throwing out the armor, you're trying to get some sort of crazy thing going on. There he comes, our full screen, you know? Here's a situation, Darius is out, full screen overhead low. That's actually insane to me. And then 100 health on top of all of that. Yeah. I actually am, for now, I mean, once I play around with it more, I may revert this, but I actually think I'm going to remove Shujinkydink from my top 3 cameos. I'm going to put Darius in there instead. I think just for what he does for Quan, and actually gives us some legitimate mix-ups and some legitimate damage and some just all-around like utility. I think that Darius is quite useful, but my mind could change on that. So I'm going to put on the screen now kind of my updated tier list after I've went through all of this. Again, big thanks to Rumba for sending me all the Janet tech, and I know some people are going to spin this and say that I'm saying that Janet Quan Chi is bad, and I'm definitely not saying that at all. It's just when you look at the synergy, you know, the other cameos have, it just suits Quan way better than what she does. So whether that's a hot take or not, who knows? Janet's a really good cameo. We see her with Ermac a lot. I just think that what she gives to Quan Chi, other cameos do it better. So with that being said, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like because it really helps me out, and subscribe if you haven't, because I make new videos almost every single day. Hashtag Bonehawks, all that stuff, and we'll see all you Bonehawks in the next video.
Accept your death.